Jai Ramarava Punjabi Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Janaram Jana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Jai Radha Punjabi Hari Radha Punjabi Hari Hari Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Balaji Mani Subhadra Jai Srinath Ji Jai Balagopal Jai Srinath Ji Jai Giri Govardhan Jai Gaurani Jai Jai Gaurani Jai Jai Gaurani Jai Jai Gaurani Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Gurudev. Paramahansa Bhagavata Stolra Satashishi Maharaj's Divine Grace, Founder of ISKCON, Abhay Charanadavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Granth Raj Shrimadbhagavatam Ki, Their Most Merciful Lordship Shri Shriarakunja Bihari Ki, Shri Jagannath Shri Baladev Mai Subhadra Ki, Shri Nataji Shri Balagopal Ki, Shri Shri Gaurnitaya Ki, Nitai Go Prem. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the glorious feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gaura. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya. Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraya
Tato Jayamudiraya
Nasta Prayashu Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayashu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhagavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhagavati Naistiki
Reading from Shrimadbhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 12. Tarhi
Tahi
Evata
Evata
Muni
Muni
Shrestha
Shrestha
Tarhi Evata Muni Shrestha
Tahi Evata Muni Shrestha
Pandava
Pandava
Pancha
Pancha
Sayakan
Sayakan
Pandava Pancha Sayakan
Pandava Pancha Sayakan
Atmano
Atmano
Vimukan
Abhimukhan
Diptan
Diptan
Atmano Vimukan Diptan
Atmano Abhimukhan Diptan
Alakshastrani
Alakshastrani
Upadadu
Upadadu
Alakshastrani Upadadu
Alakshastrani Upadadu
Tarhi Evata Muni Shrestha
Taryevata Muni Shrestha
Pandava Pancha Sakyakan
Pandava Pancha Sayakan
Atmano Vimukan Diptan
Atmano Abhimukhan Diptan
Alakshastrani Upadadu
Alakshastrani Upadadu
Tarhi Evata Muni Shrestha
Taryevata Muni Shrestha
Pandava Pancha Sayakan
Pandava Pancha Sayakan
Atmano Vimukan Diptan
Atmano Abhimukhan Diptan
Alakshastrani Upadadu.
Alakshastrani Upadadu
Please chant.
Taryevata Muni Shrestha
Taryevata Muni Shrestha
Pandava Pancha Sayakan
Pandava Pancha Sayakan
Atmano Abhimukhan Diptan
Atmano Vimukan Diptan
Alakshastrani Upadadu
Alakshastrani Upadadu. Tarhi
Tarhi
then
then
Eva
Eva
also
also
Artha
Ata
therefore
therefore
Muni Shrestha
Muni Shrestha
O chief amongst the Munis
O chief amongst the Munis
Pandava
Pandava
all the sons of Pandu
all sons of Pandu
Pancha
Pancha
5 Sayakan
Sayakan
weapons
weapons
Atmana
Atmana
own selves
own selves
Abhimukan
Abhimukhan
toward
towards
Diptan
Diptan
glaring
bearing
Alaksya
Alakshya
seeing it
seeing it
Astrani
Trani
weapons
weapons
Upadadu
Upadadu
took up
took up
Taryevata Muni Shrestha Pandava Pancha Sayakan Atmano Vimukan Diptan Alakshastrani Padadu. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace of Charanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O foremost among the great thinkers, Munis, Sanika, seeing the glary Brahmastra proceeding towards them, the Pandavas took up their 5 respective weapons. Please repeat. O foremost among the great thinkers,
O foremost among the great thinkers
Munis,
Munis
Sanika,
Shaunaka
seeing the glaring Brahmastra
seeing the glaring Brahmastra
proceeding towards them,
proceeding towards them
the Pandavas took up their 5 respective weapons.
the Pandavas took up their 5 respective weapons.
O foremost among the great thinkers, Muni, Sanika, seeing the glaring Brahmastra proceeding towards them, the Pandavas took up their 5 respective weapons. Purport by His Divine Grace of Charanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Brahmastras are finer than the nuclear weapons. Ashwatam discharged the Brahmastra simply to kill the Pandavas, namely the 5 brothers headed by Maharaj Yudhisthira, and their only grandson, who was lying within the womb of Uttara. Therefore, the Brahmastra, more effective and finer than the atomic weapons, was not as blind as the atomic bombs. When the atomic bombs are discharged, they do not discriminate between the target and others. Mainly, the atomic bombs do harm to the innocent, because there is no control. Mainly, the atomic bombs do harm to the innocent because there is no control. The Brahmastra is not like that. It marks out the target and proceeds accordingly without harming the innocent. In present-day warfare, there are a lot of arguments that are going on is that innocent people are being killed. But the fact that people are being killed, period, that human beings are engaging themselves in the energy to destroy one another, rather than working, coordinating together to fight these enemies of mankind, diseases caused by misunderstanding of the use of the physical body, misunderstanding of the needs of the physical body, misunderstanding of producing healthy outgrowth of plants that are put here for humankind, but manipulated and so-called protected by sprays that ultimately get into the root system of the plants they're supposed to be protecting and then affect the human beings karmically in the same way that the sprays are supposed to affect the bugs. You get gut leak, what's being called gut leak. And people are taking this as the natural state that vegetables were in from the beginning, that by eating a tomato now, this tomato is causing gut leak, but it's because of the sprays they put on the tomato that it absorbs through the root system. It comes back as a karmic reaction. So, now we were talking the other day, we don't have the advanced technology to be able to guide these missiles as well as this Brahmastra is being guided to specific persons. But they're working on it in response to people's rebellion against these bombs being used against civilians. And when the enemy is using civilians as a protective shield, then it makes it even more difficult. But in times past, that wasn't even looked at as a tactic for anyone to use, is to put up a shield of innocent people in front of you, using children's schools, hospitals, and these kinds of things, so that if somebody does try to bomb them, they hit those innocent people first. So we have here, this is a similar thing that's going on with Ashwatam, aiming at innocence. These children haven't done anything in the womb. But now, the 5 Pandavas, there's 5 children in the womb, if I'm not mistaken. The 5 Pandavas being taken up their weapons here, are not the 5 Pandavas in the womb, I don't think. So they're going to retaliate by trying to dispel this that has been put out by Ashwatam, but ultimately Krishna is going to be the protective force. We will see. I was considering how the other day I got the realization about the relationship that Christians have to Krishna, in that ultimately the person they believe to be the son of God is the son of Indra. So if we bring Christians to be aware of that, they will actually realize they're worshiping a demigod. And I analyzed this in my mind. A lot of times what people who are guilty of things do is accuse other people of doing what they are themselves doing. And this seems to be the case here. It's the same way with Christianity, proclaiming that there's no other name given under heaven by which a man can be saved. And this writing was in the original writings, but they changed the name. And so the same Christians that condemn everyone else who call God by a different name are themselves using a name that was never used before the writings were saying that the name that should be spoken of. And so they're, not only is he not who they think they are, but his name is not what they think it is either. It's not really funny. Because they're sacrificing their life, believing they are serving the supreme God. But then when we compare analytically the knowledge being given by Krishna in comparison, we be able to discriminate. And this form of discrimination with the Brahmastra weapon is also there, distinguishing the ability to discriminate as an advanced ability of the human being, so that only those that are meant to get the punishment get the punishment. But if someone sending the punishment is themselves not innocent, then the punishment will come back. If I'm not mistaken, karma, bad karma that comes back with a force 7 times stronger. What does Newton law said? Every action produces a reaction, opposite in force equal in opposite in direction equal in force, right? But karma, not equal in force, 7 times. So if you kill someone, you have to suffer death 7 times for doing that. If you kill the cow, you have to take birth as many times as there are hairs on his body. And the way they do it at McDonald's, you can take 1 bite out of a hamburger and be taking the flesh of 3 or 4 different cows. So how their technology has made them more advanced at committing sinful activity, in effect. Now they can kill more than 1 cow with 1 bite. They can be responsible for the death of more than 1 cow with 1 bite of food. Which in effect in our minds is practically insane, isn't it? You think about it. But see, this dulls the human mind to the value of life itself. And this is why in society, people then become numbered. And catastrophes of human life become looked at as numbers. And the value of life is decreased in people's minds, numbers on paper. Everything is numbers on paper. The value of the time we spend in our past accumulating what is being given to us as a reward is being equated as a number, having a number value. Isn't it? which is your life, the time you spent conducting yourself the way some manager, administrator tells you you should conduct yourself to perform the activities he wants you to perform, then he will reward you with a certain number on a piece of paper. It says he owes you that because you performed this function for him. So it's like the value of your life becomes reduced to a number. Don't they say, what is your human worth? And then you give them the amount of money you've accumulated. Isn't that what they make human worth to be? The amount of money you have in the bank. The household you have, the house you have, the transportation you have. And none of this has a thing to do with the soul, actually. Because none of these things will be brought by the soul to the dwelling or the eternal dwelling. Because none of these things are themselves eternal. Which shows to us those things which we will take part of in the spiritual world are eternal. Which is why this chanting is such a great privilege to take part in. Because it can give us, if our minds are surrendered, if we are surrendered to Krishna, to enable us to see what is in the spiritual world. Not with the desire to see, but with the desire to please Krishna, automatically the vision comes of the spiritual world. Full maturation of the soul comes automatically when the soul is engaged in Krishna consciousness. And see, just the opposite of the way human beings value life, Krishna goes out of his way to make a way for us to be able to come back to the eternal dwelling and put such value upon the simple act of offering him food as having eternal benefit. The simple act of offering him a flower, having a benefit for the rest of our lives. One simple act, Srila Prabhupada said, of giving a penny towards this cause will enable the person giving that penny to have a human life, their next birth. Now, does that mean now that a human life is only worth a penny? No. But we see the value of Krishna consciousness being able to lift people, anybody, out of the dregs of the mindset that people have in their mindset of what life is giving to them, life is offering. And so most people don't even throughout the day take the topic of eternity to dwell upon for a moment. Eternity doesn't enter into their consciousness through the day. But for a devotee, we are constantly being reminded of the eternal nature of the soul by the chanting, by the taking of prasadam, by the reading of the books, and by the giving out of the books. We're continuously reminded of the eternity of the soul, and that the knowledge is given for the sake of being able to give it. So that makes you the one who takes this book and simply gives it to another, as valued by Krishna as Sutta Goswami, who is giving it to us. He puts such a high value on that place, and he's reckoning that to be next to Srimati Radharani's most favorite soul, Sukadeva Goswami, her parent. And he's speaking that as a child, a 16-year-old boy, reciting this to the emperor of the world. So how much this reveals. Now, this boy He didn't have any great amount of wealth, except his knowledge.
Yeah.
So we're looking exactly at a completely different mindset of people in a completely different era. Now, who would look at any 16-year-old boy in this age as capable of giving guidance to the world for the next 10,000 years? But in effect, that's what we are saying Sukadeva Goswami has in his life. Is there any value that can be put upon that week of his life to give instructions for the future 10,000 years for all of humanity to benefit by? What kind of value does that have? And then what kind of value then does that give each book with that ability? We have a treasure. What Krishna reveals to us about a touchstone being able to produce gold every day, ounces of gold every day. Yet this Bhagavatam we have is even greater than that. By even touching a person and receiving that transcendent information that it's producing can transform their life of an endless chain of slavery. Slaves to the senses of the body. Most human beings are serving the senses of the body without realizing they're doing that. You may work at a place for 30 years and not even know the person who owns the company. And that's how kind it is when people live their whole life, 60 years, and they never met Krishna. They never know, they don't even believe Krishna exists. Like I was saying the other day, Krishna says in the battlefield, never was there a time when you, nor I, nor all these kings didn't exist. And here the atheist saying, never was there a time when you existed. So they are seeing the opposite of what we're seeing. Making the value of life a number on a paper as compared to seeing the value of the words of a 16-year-old boy who spoke 5,000 years ago. And if, in fact, that relationship which he had then is perfect enough by revealing it to us, that relationship he has with Krishna, imagine what that relationship he is having with Krishna now is. Oh, now all these great heroes we're reading about, Arjuna, because this took place 5,000 years ago and they're still connected. So just imagine how sweet their lives are now. Krishna. They're all with Krishna, still carrying out pastimes, because that's the benefit of coming in contact with the teachings. And it was contact with the teachings of their master that they had the ability to repel. But I don't think they're going to have the ability here to repel them. I think Krishna has to step in, if I recall correctly. And he enters into the womb of Mother Uttara, right? Same way he did with Prahlad. Did he do that with Prahlad? No, Prahlad he didn't need to. Narad Muni gave protection to Prahlad in his residence. Yeah, that's right. But Krishna or his devotee, they all have the same intention. Bring deliverance to the fallen soul, protected devotees that are on the path to liberation. And liberate the demons from their evil ways, from their acts, because the same acts they're engaging in to cause them suffering and pain can be used to gain the greatest reward. Imagine, how much is a penny considered in this day and age? Can't even buy a bubble gum with a penny. They used to have these machines in the store. You put a penny in there and turn the handle, and out comes a stick of gum. Not today, they're a quarter, or maybe $1. I don't know. So, but yet, Srila Prabhupada is saying, by that one penny. So this is what evidence we have that Krishna is making a value of that moment. How much is a penny of our life? Is it a moment? Spark. And yet Krishna makes it importantly significant enough to reward us with another human life instead of being forced into animal life. Because a lot of people in the human form, without this knowledge, they develop friendships with what they think is the greatest friendship there is. They have their dog or their cat. Mm. And these are being looked at as medicative, that which will bring them comfort. And the comfort that they're offering is a dog's body or a cat's body the next time around, because the more they meditate on the softness of the cat, the kindness of the dog, the faithfulness, then they're meditating on these things that are going to give them that relationship and that body to relate more perfectly. But now the dog, thinking about the human being, he gets a better benefit of the deal. He gets the human body, the human gets the dog body, which seems unfair. But it is the desire of our minds that we aim our consciousness to. It is the desires that the soul has. These people are looking for friendship when they can only find that in an animal. Because many friendships that are developed with human beings because of the false ego, and they can't find satisfaction with that. Dogs don't give you arguments about your belief system. They just need a scrap of food here and there, and then they'll show you how much they love you. And that's some people all they want. So this is why Krishna tells us and reveals to us that what we think about is going to determine what we're going to have the next time after we leave these bodies. So the simplest thing to do is to just think about creating kirtan. You can be doing that 24 hours a day. No matter what you're doing, you can still be singing in your mind. And nobody even has to know you're doing it. In this way, you become a pure devotee like that. This is how pure devotees act. They look like they're sitting there doing nothing, and in meditation, they're offering sweet rice to Krishna and touching it to see whether it's too hot or it's just right.
Meditating on.
I was told that the cooler sweet rice is, the better.
Yeah. That's why they make first sweet rice.
Yeah. And we used to call ice cream liquid religion. Because it's just, the cows, what comes out of the cow's body is so beneficial for human life, is why Krishna makes the cow to be representative of religion itself. Because similarly, religion itself is so beneficial for the spiritual body. But people don't take it as important. And then jobs become done for the money, the number that they can derive the benefit of, rather than the relationship they get and the knowledge and the wisdom they get from applying that same energy to serving Krishna somehow. by hook or by crook, making a garland, making a dress, offering foodstuffs, offering flour. So many things that would seem like menial service, simple little tasks. If a penny can produce a human birth, just imagine what dedicating your life every day and wanting to have the ability to just serve Krishna in that way till the end of your days. Just imagine what that would bring. And that's where devotees are. So what it looks like to me is, because Krishna is impartial, he treats everybody equally. Everybody gets a different result because they're all doing different things. But everybody that does the same thing, of course, with like Haridas Thakur, we don't have anybody to compare with. He's chanting so many rounds, I think it's 160 rounds a day or something.
192 something.
192, yeah. So he might have had time to brush his teeth and go to the bathroom. Maybe. How can anyone conceive? But see, anybody that doesn't know that he's Brahma, they can make the mistake of looking at Brahma according to time and circumstance, only that he was in when those lusty souls came out of his body. But he's also Namacharya. And he's the head of our line in two ways. He's Namacharya and also as Brahma himself, the father of all Sampradaya. So we have to see Brahma as pure devotee. Krishna. It's amazing that Krishna not only brings with him from the spiritual world his closest associates, but he also allows those who have not been associates with him, including demons, to even take birth during this time. But that's sometimes why he comes, is because there are so many demons that have taken birth. Now, I've been wondering considerably, if demons don't take birth, how do they ever become anything but demons? You know? They have to stay as demons. And so if everybody on the planet is producing children who are coming from the heavenly class, no hope for the demons. Well, because hell could be an endless cycle too. Hell could draw bitterness out of you, make you bitter at whoever is in control of all this stuff, right? I don't know that I've ever been, but I do know that I never want to go. It's enough to see describe the place. In Bhagavatam, it's like being able to suffer from the ill activities of others than to have to go through it yourself by reading these environmental circumstances that are created in the universe in order, because the soul is so indestructible. It can't be turned from its ways very easily when, after millions of millenniums, it has developed habits that are part of its makeup, part of its being, its thought process of I, me, and mine as well. Every living form has it, this false ego. It's part of the illusion of what we're thinking ourselves to be, And it's not something we can get out of ourselves either. We're going to get out of the illusion of thinking we're human beings on the planet Earth. And we're making this to be our home. We really believe this is our home. So by knowing it's not, we can see how much of an illusion we're under. Big illusion. That's why the nomadic life, see, might not be desired by so many people, but it's a constant remembrance that this is not our home. You build a house and make a comfortable place to stay, you convince yourself that this is your home. And thereby get the same similar set of circumstances next time around. You're home, you're home, you're home, you're home. Whereas when we know our home is with Krishna in the spiritual realm, where nothing decays, there is no rot, there is no disease, there is no old age, there's no death. Even time is known by its absence. That's the way it's been described to me. Time is known by its absence. Krishna says, time I am. But the time he's describing in that statement is that destructive force of the universe that causes everything to have to come to an end. Everything in the universe has an end to it. Except Dhruvaloka. Except that which Krishna declared. By the end of it, there may be more planets similar to Dhruvaloka. Krishna is not through with his pastimes. And just because we, in this material universe, are going through Kali Yuga, it forces us into certain kinds of consciousness. But once you become realized of the fact that our consciousness is being forced into an illusion, and once we gain control of the thoughts of the mind, then we don't have to be under that illusion anymore. So then the meaning of Krishna consciousness becomes more and more clear every day about how free thinking the way that Krishna wants us to think, how free it keeps us from the control also of the thoughts of the mind, of the distresses of the body, of the distresses of human interaction even. Because having a job forces you to be interacting with people sometimes you don't want to interact with, but you have to. You got to sell them a pair of shoes, or you got to sell them something to eat or whatever, depending upon what you're doing. And there's a lot of nasty people out there as well. I believe the statement was made by Srila Prabhupada, it is the innocent people we want to give this philosophy to. And then there's another perspective as well, that Lord Chaitanya didn't discriminate, and it is the most fallen criminals that need to be deterred because they're doing more harm to society. And it is only Krishna consciousness that can actually deter these people permanently. So if we're not out on the streets preaching to the misled, the misguided, then they will only have the books to go by. We gotta live the life too. We gotta do what our Guru tells us to do. But then we can expect great things will happen. Because this golden age of Lord Chaitanya's dispensation of the holy name is not an ordinary time, an ordinary era. It's going to be glorious. They have flying cars now.
Like
Under $10,000, brand new. You believe that? Elon Musk doing that.
Tesla.
As soon as they come off the assembly line, I'm getting one. For some reason, there's a desire in my heart to hear the sirens behind me and turn the switch on and have the propellers going, ooh, bye. Gone. But humankind needs laws. But when the lawmakers don't follow the laws of God and they construct God according to their own whims, then it causes confusion in society and chaos. So this is, all these past scriptures have been really revealing to us, even in war, laws are necessary. Well, we see also in karma that there are reactions people are getting who may appear to us to be innocent. They have all the looks of having been brought up properly. They obey all the laws. But then all of a sudden something breaks or something and they go mad. This happens in society sometimes. I went to a high school. This one young boy excelled above everyone. Straight A's all the way through, most intelligent. Committed suicide after high school. A few years after. But sometimes, see, knowledge without God, this thing as well being revealed in Lord Buddha's life. Lord Buddha being intelligence. So intelligence also, without God, is not the complete whole. Although the intelligence Lord Buddha gave to his followers leads to him. And so he being Krishna will bring his followers. There's a tapaloka in this universe in which all those practitioners of that form of meditation that they take part in, Lord Buddha will bring them to that place where they will be totally satisfied. They could stay there for a long, long time. That's the problem. So Krishna's giving us intimate details about every incarnation that has been in the past, so that we're not deterred. We can see the result of each and every one of his incarnations, and thereby make an honest decision. So how can someone make a decision about a religion they don't know anything about? They never read one book, they never anything, just making a decision based on their previous experience with their own religion. We wouldn't consider that same for any other study or any other viewpoint of a group of people. You can't know people until you study them, until you read about them, until you interact with them. And this is what prejudice is, what bias is. Making a determination about people before you know anything about them. And this is not innocence, though. Yeah. And so, what Srila Prabhupada was saying, we don't want to give to, there is automatically there a defense that they don't get it. Because their predetermined judgment about you keeps them from getting it from you, because they don't want you. So they stay away.
Yeah.
They're stuck in a trap. They're stuck in a trap and they can't get out. Until someone they're biased against frees them from their bondage. That's also a form of shame. When people come to realize they've been wrong all their lives, and the very people they believe themselves have been evil, have been actually the purest ones, that now they come to surrender to. People do that with Christianity, but I'm sure a lot of devotees, similar to my own experience, have felt that way about devotees before they knew anything about them. This reveals as well how we ourselves take up a belief system and become recognized as a belief system with the people we familiarize ourselves with. So we do have to realize if we do surrender to Krishna and we become a part of the ISKCON movement, then people are going to see us as representing everything that ISKCON stands for. But not only that, we come in contact with people who believe things that ISKCON doesn't stand for, that it does, they believe it does stand for, and then we have to face that also. Somehow correct them with that. There's a group on the internet propounding that you can't become a ISKCON devotee unless you take LSD, which is insane. You can't become a devotee unless you don't take LSD, is the truth of it. And this is how we can see a lot of things that are regarded by people as different. They do just the opposite, not realizing the end result, which may look at first like it's sweet nectar, but in the end brings bitter sorrow, and disease. A few minutes left for comments or questions. Any realization?
Previously, like we have seen, this is the second instance of Brahmastra releasing Prabhu. In the first instance, also Ashwadama releases Brahmastra. Then we have seen that Brahmastra effect, it devastates upper planetary and lower planetary system. But now in this it's saying it has finer target and finer precision. So how?
In most of these mantras, you use a person's name that you're aiming it at.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how it would affect the amount like you're saying, because there may be different words used in the mantra itself to determine how powerful it's going to be, whether it's going to be a thunderbolt or a earthquake size.
So in the first instance, his intention was to destroy Pandavas?
In the first instance, to destroy the entire
because he released and Arjuna also released to retry.
Well, being that these are the last Pandavas, so just by killing them, he was hoping to end their family line after that. So, but the same animosity would be considered in his heart. If he's aiming at the children, he has the same feelings towards the parents, right? So that's the thing, that's why we might think, well, if somebody kills one person, he has to die 7 times. You might think that's severe. But the act of killing that one person affects 10, 15, 20, sometimes 100, sometimes 1,000 people because of the purpose they have in society and the effects they're having on other people. If they're a teacher, if they're someone purposeful, playing, important function in society, they affect so many lives. So 7 is actually a small retribution for the effects that these killings have on so many people after. parents, the relatives, whole family, the children, the siblings, and somebody's killed, murdered, for no reason. These things really hurt a lot of people, more than usually 7.
But they also say like, if at all the innocent people have been affected, that might be their past karma as well.
Yeah. Just like we were saying that this piece of wood, even though the tree that it was made from has left its body, it's getting benefit now for holding up Bhagavatam. Similarly, these evil deeds that people do, they leave effects after they leave their bodies even. And then people engage their tongues in speaking about them, which is also another form of negative energy. There's not much good you can say about criminal acts. It doesn't stir up in the minds of the people that know what the act is, the very act itself, which is a destructive kind of thing. Shown in the test of Dr. Bose with his experiments with plants and their sensitivity to the thoughts of human beings. Yeah. Thoughts are powerful, but they were more powerful in the previous age. But I'm finding that as time progresses, with my advancement in Krishna consciousness and the use of the mantras, the thoughts of the mind become more powerful. And it looks like this may very well be related to memory. Because Bhagavad Gita has been Bhagavad Gita since time immemorial.
Yeah.
What we absorb of it becomes part of us too. And so if that's part of our memory, we're remembering it. It's not going to go away. There's nowhere for it to go. It's always there. That's the benefit of memorization and having through our day mantras that we chant, that we repeat by rote, by memory. And this instills the memories use every day. We're calling the memory to bring back to us that which we've used the day before and the day before. It's difficult for me to understand how this kind of thing creeps up on people. If in fact you are requiring your memory every day, but this could be very suggestive that people are not requiring their memory and they're just watching TV or not doing anything. It's what they consider vacation time. Do nothing.
Relax.
And even some things that are called recreation can be done as a matter of repetition and not even calling memory. So some of these things that look like makes people look normal, they can still be working on dementia and whatever else there is that's connected with it. So people are getting reactions without knowing where they're coming from. And it is the knowledge of Krishna that will protect us from that which is coming, which we've created from the past, that Krishna can keep from coming. Yeah, that's what this is actually about as well. These Brahmastra weapons sent to one from the past, and Krishna is going to retrieve it in the future. Any comments, any questions? Shrimadbhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki